let's get curious about taste. Now, before we do the what if question, I'm curious, what kind of taste do you think you have? Do you think you've got good taste, bad taste, or questionable taste? Now, another question would be, what kind of taste do you think others would say you have? Now, fortunately, it doesn't matter what kind of taste you have to enjoy this what if question and learn more and dive deeper into taste and actions and doing good. So the question is, what if broccoli tasted like chocolate? Now, let that sink in for just a second and think about, well, if broccoli tasted like chocolate, would we all be incredibly healthy? Or would we lose our appreciation for what it means to be healthy? Wondering about this raises a bigger question. Does this mean being and doing good isn't supposed to feel good, at least not initially? Well, what if the better feelings we get are those we earn? You see, for example, the feeling you get later on in life as a healthy individual from eating more broccoli than chocolate is certainly a better feeling than the quick flash of deliciousness on your tongue while munching on chocolate, right? Well, sound far-fetched? Consider this. What if there were a berry that, when eaten, would temporarily change how your taste buds taste? For example, after eating this berry, Tabasco sauce, that spicy sauce that I love so much, would taste like donut glaze. Bitter things would taste temporarily sweet. Would you like that berry? Would you like to be able to manipulate and change your taste buds to taste things differently than maybe the way nature intended them? Or are you satisfied with the way things taste as they are, good, bad, or indifferent? And if you're even more curious about taste and how it all works, you see, on our tongues, we have different types of taste receptors. We know that there are at least 5 different types of receptors: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and savory. Curious which your favorite is and which your least favorite is. But you see, the sweet receptors tell you that a candy tastes sugary. Sour lets you know that it's a lemon slice in your mouth, not an orange. Salty tells you that you've used too much of that seasoning on your eggs. But bitter is used for many things. But part of it, bitterness, it's important because it's letting you know when foods have expired or downright bad for you. Savory is part of a meat's flavor, so you could also think about it as your tongue's bacon receptor. These 5 types of receptors are found all over the tongue, but the sides of your tongue are a bit more sensitive. All of these receptors work with your nose to let your brain know that the food you're eating is really tasty or that you shouldn't eat it. So a lot of fascinating things here when you dive deeper into not just taste, but how we taste. For one, it's fascinating how you have these different tastes, some to make you want to eat more of stuff, but especially like bitter. The bitter taste in your mouth is almost like a warning sign, right? Like, don't eat that. It could be dangerous or it could be bad. So it's interesting how we have, even our tongues are telling us what to do. Have you ever thought your tongue would tell you what to do? But it's also interesting that when we dive deeper into systems or complex systems, that we think about eating or taste as something simple. Just pop it in your mouth and enjoy, right? But this isn't what your body's doing. Your body is a system or a network using your tongue and your nose and your brain to send you signals and to tell you what to do. And just a way to get more familiar with how systems work, and then look for systems in other places, not just your body, but maybe your school or your business or your community, to better understand how we may think everything's related to one thing or one receptor, right? But really it's a network or a collaboration of many things working together for a single purpose. So be really curious to see what else what you could discover or learn by taking the qualities of the tongue taste receptors in this art of tasting and apply it to other things. Now, we do have an activity too, because remember, it's not just about taste, but that question of what, does it have to kind of feel bad to be good? So make a quick list of 10 things you hate doing, but you know you should, right? It could be cleaning your room or doing your work on time or being nice to your family members or, eating your broccoli, right? Now, see how many of those things you can do in a single day. I know you're like, well, I should be doing them all the time anyway, but be intentional about them. Write down 10 things you struggle with doing, but you know you should, and then see what your score is at the end of the day. Where do you rank. And then maybe if you want to go for another challenge, ask a coworker or a friend or someone else to do the same and see if you can push each other to do more of what you maybe don't want to do, but know you should do. And aside from that, I'm kind of curious what else you can learn about the whole idea of broccoli tasting like broccoli and chocolate tasting like chocolate and why they don't taste like each other, right? If you want to go down other rabbit holes of curiosity, see what you can discover about the biology behind our taste buds and how our bodies use receptors to signal our brain and tell us information, and see if you can discover other animals or plants in nature who use other types of receptors to help them understand or navigate the world around them. And if you want to go even deeper, you can get into the chemistry of chocolate and broccoli and go down and see that it's not just our tongues, but there's certain properties of each of these that determine not only the way they look, but also the way they taste. So you may never have thought that you're big into biology or curious about chemistry, but asking a simple question like, what if broccoli tastes like chocolate? You may learn a lot more about both. And especially if you're really curious, you may be able to convert that learning about chemistry and biology to one day create broccoli that tastes like chocolate. Thanks again for getting curious here, and as always, stay curious.